Going on in 10. Oh, we're live. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to TSC Talks Weekly Update. Yeah, I wasn't aware I was live, but I am here and I'm here to just do a few announcements on standby. I have Chris Chambers. He was on the update a few weeks ago to talk about his upcoming show, Mission Gone Fishing, for to deal with the veteran and suicide problem. And he's going to talk to me today about the VA healthcare system and the challenges navigating that and how he started to manage his own healthcare with using cannabinoid medicine. So he's up in just a sec. I want to just run through a few announcements. On the podcast currently playing is Jana Champagne. Jana is the founder of Autism Safe Haven, as well as she's a professor. She is teaching now at a John Patrick University and teaching a cannabis. Gosh, I'm blowing it here. She is graduate faculty at John Patrick University. So she's doing some educating on cannabis for people there. And her organization, Autism Safe Haven, inspired by her own experience using cannabinoid medicine for her personal health, as well as for her daughter with autism, keeping her daughter, managed. When you have a child with autism and they go through puberty, it can become a real crazy SHIT storm. And Jana implemented cannabinoid medicine before getting to the point where she needed pharmaceuticals. So she wants other people with individuals with autism to be able to have the cannabinoid medicine in their care in a group home supported setting and keep their whole body health in mind. A lot of times in group homes, care gets diversified and the holistic aspect sometimes gets lost. So this is a really phenomenal program that Jana's got going. And before that was Nurse Carrie Lee, cannabis nurse from rural Iowa. She had a midlife change in her career. She went from mortgage financing to nursing, trying to, just do something that really kind of fed her soul and ended up in cannabis nursing. And she just is passionate about it and does a lot of support for mental health issues. And that's a good podcast too. So final announcement is our virtual holiday market right behind me. You can see it there. That's coming up December 12th through the 24th. We are working on getting vendor content ready. We're going to have a bunch of different cannabis or healthcare related products and services. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to have some educational pieces where some of our participants will be educating on various topics, cannabis and education, and other healthcare related kind of tutorials. And I know one woman that's joining is going to talk about how she developed her own lotions and soaps. So, and we have a psychic also joining. So it'll be really fun. And that's about it. So I'm going to just welcome Chris. Chris, thanks for coming on again.
You're welcome.
And thanks for sitting there while I talk through that.
That's okay. Well, with the VA, the way they set up appointments, they'll send you out a postcard, and this is so you can make an appointment. So you make the appointment with them, and like yesterday with me, I drove 17 miles to the VA clinic to see my primary care physician. Well, You get there and you go, I have an appointment, and they look in their computer and they say, yes, you do. But it's only by telephone.
Oh, no. So you went all the way there and it was a telehealth thing.
Yes, because of the coronavirus.
Right.
I was explaining to my primary care physician the problem with the increasing amount of suicides in veterans is because they're not getting that personal service anymore.
Interesting.
You have a mental health problem, and what do? They call you up on the telephone. You know,
you need that.
So you waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm sitting outside, and she goes, "Well, I'm not even at the clinic." And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, I'm in New York." And I'm like, "Well, then why did you set up this meeting?" And she goes, "Well, it was only for a phone call." And I go, then why don't they let veterans know? You know, they just had 2 veterans kill themselves over in Alabama at the VA hospital because they couldn't wait to get into mental health.
Oh,
So they go out
wow.
and they both at the same time killed themselves
Oh, that's
because they had problems. So that's why it's gone from 22 a day to 27 veterans a day right now. And it's increasing because of the non-personal attention. But
yeah,
when it comes
and,
to
yeah, go ahead.
But when it comes to ophthalmology or your urologist, they'll see you personally.
So the specialists will see you, but the main primary care, it's virtual.
Yes, and now they had me do an ultrasound. Well, they know that ultrasound, the solution I'm allergic to, but they'll go ahead and use it and then say, when you go home, take some tape and just kind of peel it off and take a shower. Well, you ever put tape on yourself and you got hair on you and you got to pull off that tape? That hurts.
Ouch, yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness. And didn't they wanted you to have some testing done that you weren't really sure it was necessary?
Well, they've trying to schedule me for an MRI with radioactive contrast. Every time they've done this to me, I'm sick for at least 3 weeks. I've got the runs for 2 weeks. And so I said, I refuse. You can't refuse that many times with the VA. They can refuse you, but if you start refusing them, and let's say you got a small percentage of disability, like maybe 20%. Now I'm 100%, so they can't take mine away. But the smaller ones who have a low amount of benefits, if you miss 3 in a year, you lose those benefits.
Wow.
So here's the problem. You got a lot of homeless veterans out there now. Well, they're not able to get these postcards like I get. They don't have a mailing address. They're living in the jungles or the woods or under bridges. So they have no access to the care that they need because there's no place to send that postcard to.
Wow. Never even
so they miss
thought
a
of
meeting.
that.
And they miss another meeting, and next thing you know, they want to know, what happened to my check this month? Well, because you keep A&A-ing yourself against medical advice. So you lose the benefit.
And it's almost like they're set up to fail because there's
and
no way for them to participate in that kind of health care if they have to do phone calls.
Me on 19 meds at one time, or 64 pills a day, or 1,050 every month, diet. I got tired of it.
Yeah. So what was there? Were you seen by one regular doctor that prescribed all those, or were those prescribed by different specialists?
He prescribed 9 colonoscopies in 1 year. Then they said, we damaged you. Then they said, we damaged your inside, so we got to remove 2 feet, 7 inches of your lower intestine. It was the VA's fault.
Wow. So
they will still deny it.
They'll deny it. Yeah. And for you to go and chase that down is worth probably, time, money, and possibly not even being able to make a case. So you're kind of just like subject to whatever they recommend. So
yes, it's like one time I was riding my bike. My bike hit some leaves, which made me go sliding. I extended my foot, and I didn't realize I had actually literally broken my foot in 4 places. I overextended it, so snapping the 2 sides and the top of it.
Oh, ouch.
I go to the VA hospital, and they said, "Oh, you only sprained it." Okay. So they wrap it up. Well, I wake up in the morning and my foot is just so huge. So I go to the closest private hospital, and they x-ray. They go, "How could they misdiagnose your foot?"
Wow.
It's broken in 4 places, sir. So I had to get a cast and, go through another little nightmare of them. Well, when you go to the government and say, look, this was an emergency. You guys misdiagnosed me, and I'm still liable for $3,200 private hospital bill.
Yeah.
When you cover me, it's ruining my credit. No, we can. It's not service connected. You weren't in action. Excuse me? So I become liable where, our President Trump, he allowed us vets to go to any hospital we needed to.
Really?
Without the worry of, if it's an emergency, it's an emergency.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, what the restrictions were in terms of where you could be seen, but you just answered it.
Okay, if a VA hospital is within 50 miles of your home, you're to go to that hospital.
I see.
Well, what if you're going through a major heart attack and you can't get there?
Right.
You can't be taken to a local hospital? And then, once you're capable of being transported to a VA, this is what they should do.
Yeah. Yeah. So take you first to like the local hospital, and then when you're stabilized, take you to the next, but they don't do that.
Nope. They won't do that.
Wow. Yeah. That's just.
And you become liable for that bill.
And so when did you start using cannabis? When were you like,
2008. Okay, I started in 2008, 12 years ago.
Yep.
After they did my stomach surgery. And they just kept wanting to prescribe more meds. And I'm like, no. So I did. I actually literally cold turkey 19 of those meds. Ended up in a VA hospital. They wanted to give me more meds. I said, no, just give me glucose.
You knew you knew how to do it. You knew what to ask for.
Yeah. They had me on so many meds, hydromorphine. Oh gosh, I can't even go over my list of what they had me on. 19 of them was a ton of 19 different bottles. Yeah. And you got to take 2 a day or 3 a day. So it's 64 in a day.
Yikes.
And that's your diet. And then the whole idea, because they see that I do have a Purple Heart, well, let's make this guy a couch potato.
Right. Of course, that would be a good idea.
That's exactly what they do. They take veterans and make them couch potatoes. Some of the VAs are very good at some of their surgeries and stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say they don't have professionals.
Sure.
But there's no personalities in them.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not really focused on the whole person. And I know that's really typical of the Western medicine in general. It's more specialists and organ by organ instead of how can we like work together to make this person a whole person and, put all the pieces together. It's like all over the place.
Well, the VA does have what they call the team. Okay. It's a team of 9.
Okay.
So that's your neurologists, orthopedics, the whole 9 yards down. Now they only meet once a year. So this doctor in ophthalmology who's giving you eye drops that you might be allergic to or whatever, or the orthopedics giving you something for pain, your primary care is saying, oh, mental health is giving you gabapentin, Depakote, and lithium. What a mix.
And they're not talking to each other at that time because they only come together once a year.
Once a year, yeah.
So they're
and they don't really look at what the medications they've given you. They don't go through that. They go by how you're feeling today.
Yeah. Now,
and this is all they're concerned about is today, and they're not cross-referencing anything where it says, do not take this with that. It can cause death. But yet they don't look, and you're taking it all. And I was, incontinent for 2.5 years, wearing Depend diapers. All because of these medications I was on.
Yeah, it's just really scary. And it's very similar to a child with a chronic condition that sees a bunch of specialists, each prescribing different meds for different organs and not connecting and talking about how they interact and how the long-term impacts of these medications are, like you're not supposed to necessarily be on them for life. So
yeah, it's like your mental health doctor will not look at your primary care physician. They have no access to those records. None. They don't have the medical records. So they don't know what your medical doctor's giving you. Oh, they know their mental health. We become the experiment.
Yep. It's so much. can totally get that. And so what would you recommend to someone that's, I mean, if you can make a recommendation, someone that's in, stuck kind of having a bunch of procedures, or they're kind of just starting to question whether this is a good idea? What can you recommend, if anything?
That's the thing. There's no personal contact. You can't go to patients' advocacy and tell them, look, I'm being mistreated. And they'll say, well, let me make a phone call for you. And they say, no, the doctor's giving you the right medications.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do for you. It's always we can't do nothing for you. You need to go by the doctor's orders.
So what happened when you started to come off all those meds, and did they try to tell you to go back on?
Documented through mental health and through my medical history. I am a cannabis user, and they're kind of amazed that I haven't been able to go down there. And they said, you know when the last time you were in here? And I went, no. They go, well, do you know, it was 2017. And I go, yeah, I know. I went down for my yearly exam, and I figured I better go down there and do my yearly exam. I've gone through a nightmare trying to get my driver's license back, okay? I just had to go through ophthalmology again, and they had to write out a special report to the Department of Motor Vehicles. They had me going through my team of doctors.
Oh, my goodness.
I had to go through it all. And then all of a sudden DMV says, yeah, but you need glasses. I go, yes, I know, but mine are broken. And it took them 3 months to get them to me. Luckily, DMV is still authorizing me to drive vehicles, but I still need my glasses because I can't drive at night. Unless I have translucent glasses, put it that way, because of the glare.
Yeah, I'm starting to get some of that.
And I'm diagnosed with cataracts and glaucoma. But they said, I'm reading my report, and it says, we're going to be following your glaucoma. It's very different.
Oh, really?
Well, the last time I was there was that they run it on a scale of 1 to 50. I was a 34 at the one time. I'm down to 4.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, so they want to do more tests and see why it went down or something, or
I know what it is. It's cannabis.
Cannabis. Yep. I put my money on it. Obviously, I think glaucoma there's a lot of research on that. People that use it for that.
Well, they don't get trained in the cannabinoid system is the problem.
Right. It's that. Yep. They can't address that because it's not included in their training, and there's liability issues because it's still got the legal issues around it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if they overdose you, they'll take, I got hit with what they call heparin-induced thrombosis. So I bruise very easily now. Mm-hmm. They overdosed me with heparin. It was a total nightmare for about 2 weeks. I was in ICU to ICU, back to ICU. I mean, it was the weirdest.
Wow.
It was really weird. And so I filed a claim against them, and they turned around and said, no, your claim has been denied. We believe you got the heparin from the city streets.
Oh, my goodness.
What? And I have that on report. I can show people that report, and they're going to go, who in the heck sells heparin on the city streets?
Right. That's not exactly, right up there with heroin.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blood thinner.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
There are million shots going in my stomach 3-4 times a day when they were injecting me with these needles of heparin, and they just overdid it. Next thing I know, everything changed. I mean, my whole room turned to iron. My whole room turned to glass. My whole room turned to a jungle. Next thing I know, I thought I was drowning. I'm in the middle of an ocean, but I'm not. I'm hallucinating.
Right. Oh, wow. That's terrifying.
And then they deny it.
Wow.
So I fought them, and I won 100%.
Good. Oh, good. So this has been like a long journey for you, Chris. And I guess I wanted to get some kind of like hopeful statement for anyone out there, I mean, I think I find a lot of hope from you because you were able to see that this was happening and you were determined you knew that something else could help you. And so how did you find out about cannabis? I think we've covered this a little before, but just so other people listening might know.
My older brother had mentioned it to me a long time ago, how it was helping him.
Uh-huh.
And I decided, well, what if I just go with whole plant, not smoking it, just go with FICO or RSO.
Yeah. What's the difference in your experience? Because I hear different answers, so I just thought I'd ask you real quick.
I started feeling healthier.
Okay.
And able to walk long distances without even paying attention. I've just walked 10, 15 miles. Last year, if you didn't notice in my profile, I was able to ride 500 and some cycling miles.
Right.
I had a goal of $200, but raised well over $8,000.
That's beautiful.
And then they put me on, and then I was put on and displayed right there on Times Square, New York.
Really?
Yes, great cyclist.
Oh, that's
for the Children's Cancer Society.
Oh, that's great.
And when I was doing that, and the reason why I was doing that for the Children's Cancer Society, because I knew that if I was involved, and I did it for 3 years in a row, writing for them, I can start introducing cannabis to these patients, basically.
Yep.
And by their knowledge of knowing I am cancer free, I had prostate cancer, so they can't even find that.
Wow.
They're saying, "What'd you do?"
Yeah, I bet that makes their eyebrows furrow and their head spin around on the shoulders. But
so they always say, "Well, we are not going to worry about you because you seem quite healthy."
Yeah, well, that's
68.
Yep, except for when you get a postcard and you have to go through that whole rigmarole. And yeah, just what you shared about homeless vets and people that wouldn't be able to even access any health care right now through the VA because of COVID, and how that's really driving a lot of the suicides and whatnot. So you still got the Mission Gone Fishing going.
Yes, we do. We're,
how's that?
We're still doing. Well, we got a small donations already, but I'm trying to deal with the large company called PepsiCo, which is Pepsi Cola.
Yep.
They sent a letter to us and stating, well, there's nothing they can do this year, but contact them in the year 2021. And they do have a donations department. So, it's going, and like I explained to them, it's going to cost money to get the boat. It's going to cost money to get the rod and reels, air transportation, ground transportation, feeding them, to make sure we have a psychologist, we have a film crew.
Wow,
just fill your guts up.
Yeah.
So we've got the setting all set up.
You just got to get the funding.
The funding, exactly.
And you're going up to bigger corporations and looking for big, higher level donations, but I'm sure every little bit counts.
Yes, I mean, if we can get 4 aluminum boats to say Pepsi Cola on it, just think how that's going to make Pepsi Cola look.
Right.
Veteran suicide prevention.
Yep.
It's going to give them a lot of promotion.
Yeah. I don't see why. I really hope that you can get this going, because just such a great idea. And yeah, I should only see it being something that catches on. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's about it that I have for. No, keep going.
Oh, well, the reason why we took the G off of fishing, because you fish in your problems and put them in a bag and throw them away in the water.
Okay.
So you're going to fish them out of yourself and throw them in the water. Fish in.
That's
the whole key behind it.
That's clever. And I don't know whether I caught that. I knew you said something about that, like just getting rid of your problems, but the fish in.
Right.
Beautiful. Yeah.
What we want them to do actually is just spill the guts. Once you spill it, follow kind of like the 12-step programs of AA, NA, but only number 4, where you will write down all your problems and everything, we're not going to look at it. We don't want to look at it because you've exposed yourself already.
Yeah.
So you write it down and then put it in a paper bag and toss it in the water.
Toss it in. Oh, I love it. Yep.
And then you'll have community support. You have backing, you know.
Yep.
Basically, it's a collaboration of just having veterans get together and don't think of the suicide. I've got too many attempts on my end.
Oh,
it won't work. Okay, it's not the way you get rid of problems.
It's not. Yeah, the symbolism.
And they feel alone. Yeah, well, they feel alone. You know, and that's why they go, well, I can't go here to the hospital and get taken care of because they're going to ask me over the telephone. Well, how's the doctor supposed to feel take your blood pressure and take your temperature, just as the, pre-screening part is concerned. There's no connection between you and the doctor.
It's that like eye to eye, face to face connection that.
Even if they did it through Zoom.
Particularly through a vulnerable for that. Yeah.
How are you going to get examined?
Right. It's not the same. And I've heard that from other people too. So this is just, oh, wow. Yeah. And I wanted to, so wrapping it up, I need to wrap it up. And what words of wisdom can you give to vets out there now? Like,
don't ever give up.
Don't ever give up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the main one. Yeah.
And live day by day.
Yep. And find people that are out there to help you. Do you know, like the mental health piece, do you ever recommend any particular type of service, or if a vet came to you and they were struggling, do you just kind of do the one-on-one thing and help them, with...
They won't do one-on-one in mental health no more.
Oh, really?
It's all over the telephone.
Still,
Mine called me up and, hey, Mr. Chambers, how are you doing? I think I'm doing okay. And he goes, well, I was just wondering if you're having any thoughts of this or that. And I go, well, I know what you're going to ask me. Do I have any thoughts of committing suicide or harming somebody else? And I go, Dr. Zellman, do you have that? And he goes, excuse me? I go, well, I'm here. You want to harm me? You're going to prescribe me something that's not healthy for me.
Yep. And what did he say to that?
Why are you asking me that question when I already know that you're here to harm me?
Wow. True. Got to speak the truth. What did he say?
He just shook his head and said, have a good day. This is all via telephone. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can't see him personally.
Right.
Now, if you do say yes, you're going to have a knock at the door and the police department's taking you to mental health ward.
Right. So it's almost like a catch-22. You're not, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Totally damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's just a box you don't want to be in. And that, I am so sorry that's been that's been your experience. And I know you're not alone.
Veterans will call the suicide hotline, tell them their problem, and they say, okay. And then they listen. Next thing you know, there's that knock on the door, taking you away like a prisoner.
Yeah. Yeah, they lose
and you're
their
saying,
rights.
I only made words. I was just saying how I felt. Well, I'm sorry, sir. We have to take you in.
Yeah. So you're exposing a lot of gaps here, and I hope anybody listening, anybody having ways to address this, you can email them to me, message me, or Chris. And Chris is going to be working or participating in our holiday market, and hopefully we can get some donations and talk about your mission there. So thanks, Chris. I'm going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much for being on, and I hate to cut you off, but that's the end of the show, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Love it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.